بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Day 12 of Ramadan. I love the topic. I'm not tired, you are, right? Like it's here. The dip is happening for a lot of us. By show of hands, if anyone is dipping, please put your hand up in the chat or in person. Love it. I'm putting my hands up too. I started feeling it, subhanAllah, like two days ago. And I was like, I'm a bad Muslim. I'm a bad Muslim. And then Umar Suleiman was like, the dip is real. I'm like, yes, it is. Thank you for validating me. So those weren't his words, but that was the message I received. Um, but subhanAllah, we're people, we're human. And so we do get tired, subhanAllah. And we're not the first people or the last people. Where there's even, um, there's a story of one of the Prophet ﷺ's wives where she had ropes put up in the masjid. And the Prophet ﷺ saw the ropes and he was like, why are these here? And someone told him, they're for your wife, radiallahu anha, so that when she's tired in her tahajjud, she could hold on to them and keep praying. And he said, take them down, you know. He said, basically, if you get tired, then sit down. Don't keep standing in your prayer. And subhanallah, this idea that, we're supposed to become aware of our capacity and then push ourselves accordingly, and each of us is different. So I a few pointers I want to a few points I want to make regarding this idea that, we do get tired, but we could still, number one, show up tired, right? And our ibadah, inshallah, will even count more for us. And the other option is for some things that we can't really shake off, but we want to keep doing. That's wonderful. May Allah give us more strength and ability to do it. The second thing is, how do you adjust it if your expectations are too high? And the third one is, how do I collect more energy? Right? Because like we get depleted. It's like, okay, fine, sort of like a video game. Can I collect more energy? Are there coins that are going to give me energy, or the weird thing that they drink in Fortnite that gives them energy? What can give me energy to sustain what I was doing or to do more? Or maybe I need energy to do a little less than I even that I was doing. Maybe like you're feeling the burnout like really, really bad. SubhanAllah. Both of my topics were like similar. So it must be what I'm thinking about. Um, so the first thing I want to talk about is anytime we're trying to refresh ourselves, it's really important to go back to basics, and it's important to create new meaning around something we're already doing or refresh that meaning. Okay. So something I looked up actually is like, why do people dip in the middle of a long-term goal? And one of the things is in the beginning of a goal, especially something challenging like Ramadan is challenging, it's 30 days. There's an excitement to it, right? Like when you go into Ramadan, some people are horrible, like have a hard time, not horrible, have a hard time in, the first few days even. But most people that when what I hear from people is like that first week is like, yeah, like I didn't feel anything and upset shoe, maybe the headaches a little bit, but there's an energy there and there's an excitement, you know? And the excitement comes with this new thing that's coming, right? It's changing up our week, our month. Something new is happening, something very special is happening, right? The doors of hell are closed, the doors of heaven are open, the shayateen are locked up, the forgiveness that we're looking for, the guidance that we're looking for, the barakah and the blessings, all of it is like coming in, right? And we're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And we go in with all of this energy. And then similar to like a 30-minute workout, right? Where like in the beginning, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna do 1,000 of these in 1 minute. And you do it and you're doing great. And all of a sudden you just start like I sometimes feel like I'm falling asleep and I'm like, what's happening? But then I remember like, okay, the end is coming. Like the end of this 30-minute workout is coming. And you know what helps? Oh, this is an even better example, I think. When you're doing a 1-minute plank, and you're standing at the beginning, you're like, yeah, this is awesome. And then depending on where you're at with your plank, 15 seconds later, 20 seconds later, 30 seconds later, you're like, I don't know if I could, I don't know if I could finish this. And you're about to give up, and the instructor goes, there's 15 seconds left. You're like, I could do anything for 15 seconds, right? And it's similar, subhanAllah, with Ramadan, right? We kind of dip in the middle 10 days. And then the last 10 days, we're like, God, like, so how do we keep going even in these next few days, the middle 10, and now the middle eight, which are, we're left with eight now. Um, I'm going to go over sort of like coachy things first, and then I'll go over sort of the Islamic reflection of it. So one of the reasons we dip, like psychologically, is in the beginning we're imagining and visualizing how amazing this like journey is going to be, and how like uplifted we might feel, or how much forgiveness we might get, or all the good deeds we're going to do during the month, right? And sort of in the middle, we start thinking about how much is left to do. And it's like, oh my God, there's 18 days left of I gotta keep doing this, right? And even like our bodies sometimes react to the push. Your body's like, okay, this was nice. You're gonna keep doing this for how long? Can we just stop now? Like, no, you can't. It's haram to stop. Okay, I'll just sit here quietly then and sort of suffer, right? One thing Tony Robbins talks about is like we all have a thermometer that's set at a certain temperature. Our normal, everything that's normal for us, our coffee in the morning, breakfast for those who have breakfast, skipping it for those who skip, like, no, no, I never have breakfast. Okay, that's fine, right? Everyone has like their norm. And that norm is around 78 degrees, right? It's like comfortable. And for some of you, maybe 70 is comfortable, whatever. Let's say 72. So like 72 degrees is the comfortable norm. And then all of a sudden you're doing different things. And now you're moving away from that 72 degrees, and your body's freaking out because it's not in home base anymore. It's like moving further away from what's comfortable. And your body freaks out and your mind freaks out, and then until you come back to the norm. And so this is us, subhanAllah, like what a beautiful experience Allah has us do every single year, where we feel that, okay, that's enough. I think that's plenty. And Allah says, nope, it's not plenty. It's you can do more. You can stay here and see what happens. You can stay here and keep building that resilience that's coming with that discomfort, the emotional, spiritual, mental resilience that's coming with that. And you can't come back here until you have an excuse because you're sick or something, or until Eid comes. You have to stay here, and you might even go up a little higher, right? So just being aware of it. So it helps me a lot just to be aware that, oh my God, this is sort of what's going on physiologically, psychologically, all these kinds of things. And how do we help ourselves? So a few very cool tips, inshallah, I'll just go through them quickly. Number one, turn large goals into small goals. And now you might be like, okay, how do we do that? Part of it is tricking our minds, right? Just like it's how we perceive the month. Maybe we perceive our fasting in Ramadan we perceive it by only focusing on the next 8 days before the 10 days come in, right? The last 10 days. And you just focus on how will I function? What will I do? What are my goals? Refresh your goals as if you're just starting Ramadan anew, right? Like the few days before Ramadan, you might have thought and sat down with yourself, maybe wrote down a few goals, or mentally just decided, I'm going to read this much Quran, I'm going to listen to these lectures, I'm going to pray this much Taraweeh, or whatever. You had all these things that you decided you would do. And now is a good time to redecide as if you're starting over, right? It's tricking the mind in a good way to make the task lighter and say, okay, what am I doing in the next 8 days? Even if you said in the beginning of Ramadan, I'm going to be more patient with my kids, say it again like you never said it before. Like, I think I'm going to start being patient with my kids. Yeah, okay, I think I'll do that. I'm going to be patient with my kids. I'm going to watch my tongue. I'm not going to call that friend because I know she's going to start backbiting. It's going to be too interesting for me to walk away from it. I'm not going to, do this. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to waste time here. I'm going to get off of Instagram, whatever, right? Remake that list. What do you want to do in this next 8 days? And when the 8 days are over, the night before the 10th, or the 10th, sorry, like the 10 days, the last 10 days of Ramadan, refresh your goals, and of course refresh your intention. Subhanallah, this is already embedded in our religion, this refreshing of ourselves, of our focus, of our purpose. It's constant in our deen, right? So refreshing your intention. Ya Allah, I am fasting because it's one of the five pillars of Islam, because I believe in you, because I love you, because I know you'll reward me. I know you said that fasting is a special thing, that everything else is going to be rewarded a certain way, but fasting is going to be special. Ya Allah, I am fasting because I fear your hellfire. I don't want to ever go to it. I don't. I want to be with the prophets. I want to be with the Sahaba and the righteous. I want to be with those people and the martyrs, right? I want shade on the day of judgment. Literally reminding ourselves, like, bit by bit, here are all the reasons I'm doing this, right? This is why we're here. We're doing it anyway, inshallah, right? But this is a way to fill up on energy. It's like iman energy, right? Energy, I like to call it. I just made that up. So make these goals, refresh those goals, and then now is a good time to revisit, were my goals realistic? And you're not a bad Muslim if your goals were too high and too much and you can't keep up with it. Subhanallah, you guys, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُم. Don't be like those who forgot Allah, and Allah made it so they forgot themselves, right? And if anything, being connected to Allah helps us be in touch with who we are. So if we can't look at ourselves in the mirror and say, what am I actually capable of? And admit that I'm not capable of doing these higher things I set for myself, or admit that I set it too low and I could do more, then we're missing the point of part of the benefit of connecting and knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Part of that benefit is that we get to know ourselves. We just have to be able to look at ourselves honestly and say, what can I do better? Or what do I need to do less of so that I can sustain this, right? Um, Focus on the process, not on the outcome. Again, the process is just day by day. Are you sleeping enough? If you're going to Taraweeh, maybe for now, they have the 7 o'clock one in Orland. Maybe go to that one so you can come home and sleep early, right? It makes a difference, because and I'm not suggesting this to anyone. This is a Mani. This is a Mani functioning in her Ramadan and the way her brain functions. I don't get up for suhoor. I know it's sunnah to get up for suhoor, and it's wonderful to do it. But I know, based on my history, if I don't sleep enough, my brain does not function well, and I do not do well emotionally, mentally, nothing. So this year, subhanAllah, Lucy's agreeing with me. This year, I decided I got up in the beginning, and then once it started getting a little too early, I was like, peace out. I'm going to sleep. I'll wake up for Fajr, like towards the end of Fajr. That's what I can do. Otherwise, I will fall apart, right? And the goal of Ramadan is not to fall apart, it's to flourish, right? So be honest with yourself. What do I need to do? Do I need to sleep better? Do I need to eat better? Right? One of my ways of tricking my brain to like refresh these next 8 days, and I still have to finish this goal, like setting this goal, is refreshing my meal plans. Not meal plans like, hey guys, I'm making meal plans for them. Not like that kind of meal plan. Like, I'm not actually making them and preparing them. But what am I eating for iftar? Am I going to be more conscious about my protein and my carbs and my fiber and the vegetables and the good fats? I want to be, because I know that helps me with my physical energy, and therefore it's going to help me with my spiritual energy. So even refreshing, how am I eating this Ramadan? Just because you started with extra samosas and extra egg rolls doesn't mean you got to finish that way, right? You can adjust it midway, no problem. And just say, just for the next 8 days. And by the way, part of mine includes dessert, because absolutely not am I depriving myself, right? That's just torture and hebel. So unless it's good for you, then it's not hebel for you, but it would be hebel for me not to have dessert. So ask yourself, what can I eat? Am I getting too stuffed and I feel like, oh my God, I need a nap now? Like, how can I eat a little less? Should I break my fast with a tamra, with a date and some water, and step away and pray, because that actually helps me slow down when I'm eating, right? I notice it helps me slow down. It's not like that, oh my God, I'm starving, I have to eat real quick feeling. And everything just slows down when I can get sometimes I'm like, no, I'm just going to eat and then I'll pray. So it just depends on the day, subhanAllah. But again, refreshing all those things will help us regain our energy, regain sort of our intentionality around this month and what we're doing and why we're doing it. Um, practice self-compassion, knowing and acknowledging that dips are normal. And so you say, oh my God, I guess I'm normal. I'm dipping. And just to acknowledge it says, what do I do about it? How can I honor the dip and honor my nafs and honor my soul so that I can get through this? And maybe the dip will only last, well, maybe this year's dip will last a less time, a shorter time than last year's dip. And that's progress, subhanAllah. And that's wonderful. So the second part of this that I'd like to reflect on with you guys is the purpose of Ramadan and the purpose of our existence to begin with, right? Going back to why. Why are we here? Why are we doing this, right? We talk to our non-Muslim friends and our non-Muslim colleagues and neighbors and things like that, and they're all just like, no water? No? And you're like, yeah, no water. Like it's fine, like of course, I'm sure we all feel like if we could do water, it'd be a lot easier, but Allah said no water. That's what it is, and that's what we do. And it's hard for people outside of this practice to really get like how are you doing this, right? And we get that because how many of us try to fast outside of Ramadan and we come up with 8,000 excuses why, no, this Monday is just not a good Monday. I have a meeting in the morning, blah, blah, blah. Like we have a million reasons why we can't do it. Ramadan, Monday, Tuesday, what we don't care, we're fasting. It does not matter, right? So in Surah Al-Najm, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in ayah 30, starting from ayah 38, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ألا تزروا ألا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى وأن ليس للإنسان إلا ما سعى وأن سعيه سوف يرى ثم يجزاه الجزاء الأوفى وأن إلى ربك المنتهى. And then I'm going to end there. I swear to God, I could feel my fast kicking in. I can barely read. So starting from 38, they state that no soul burdened with sin will bear the burden of another, and that each person will only have what they endeavored toward, and that the outcome of their endeavors will be seen in their record, and they will be fully rewarded, and that to your Lord alone is the ultimate return of all things. This idea that Allah never asks us to do something that is outside of our capacity. And one person's load is not our load, right? And that's true for everything. People's problems are not our problems. That doesn't mean we can't be empathetic and help and, be there for people. But for their load to be equal to them as it is to you actually hinders your ability to function as a help and your ability to carry your own load, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't expect us to carry a load outside of our own. And then I love this, that each person will only have what they endeavored towards. It's the wording is not that each person will have what they produced. It's what they put effort towards. So try. Literally, Allah's saying try. Keep trying. And that's what you'll be rewarded with. And what I love, and that the outcome of their endeavors will be seen in their record, right? There will be an outcome of it and it'll be seen in the record. We can't see that right now. So that's kind of, in a sense, it's none of our business. Our business is to keep trying our best, keep gaining understanding and knowledge and wisdom that makes our best better. And taqwa, by the way, helps our best to become better. And we'll talk about that in a second, inshallah. And to your Lord, oh, and they will be fully rewarded. Like, oh my God, like for trying, you will be fully rewarded. No teacher ever has said this, right? In like, well, I mean, maybe sometimes, but if you get no teacher has ever said this. You either pass the class or you don't, right? Um, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala needs you just to try. That's it. And that to your Lord alone is the ultimate return of all things. How beautiful is that? That verse by itself is comforting and it's somewhat of a warning, right? It's comforting because it's like, Ya Allah, I'm working so hard and I'm trying and I'm doing all this stuff and just like, Ya Allah. And then Allah is telling us at the end, uh, that to your Lord, everything's just going to come back to him. So even us, I get to come back to you and just rest, Ya Allah. I get to rest, right? This idea of like coming back to, Ya ayyatuha al-nafsul mutma'inna, right? Oh, you soul that is at peace and serenity. When you think of like Fir'aun's wife, Asiyah radiallahu anha, who was being tortured by Fir'aun and his soldiers, and she's looking up into the sky and she says, رَبِّ ابْنِ لِي عِنْدَكَ بَيْتًا فِي الْجَنَّةِ. Oh my master, oh my Lord, build for me a home in Jannah with you, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows her place in Jannah, shows her palace in Jannah. This sense of peace and quiet that we all can, inshallah, look forward to. That's what this struggle is about. That's what this obedience is about. It's about knowing that at the end, when all is done for each of us, because it will be, right? And just we will all pass over into this other life. And what we did and what matters most is our intention and the actions connected to those intentions. And those things will help us over into this peaceful life that is without need to struggle to be happy or fulfilled. Here we have to struggle to be happy and fulfilled. We have to. It's just part of the design. So when we think, and one more thing about that is when Jibril alayhi salam came to the Prophet sallam and told him to give, Allah sends his salam to Khadija radiallahu anha. And he describes that, tell her she has a home in Jannah that is made of specific material. I can't remember exactly what it was, but this part is what really gets me, that there won't be any noise in this house. It'll just be peaceful and quiet. And I thought, isn't that like a mom's dream, right? Or just a busy woman in general, right? Is that just like peace and quiet? You've probably seen these funny Instagram videos where a kidnapper takes a mom and he throws her like in a room and says, "You can't do anything. There's nothing here for you. You stay in this room and there's nowhere for you to go." And there's a bed and there's a TV and she's like, "Thomas," she's so happy she got kidnapped. She finally gets a break, right? So remember that this is, and inshallah, I'm talking to myself first and foremost, this is what we're working towards. Our eye is on the prize. Our eye is on the prize. Now, going to Ramadan, this is the general gist of our purpose in general, our life in general. Going to Ramadan specifically, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Baqarah, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. Ramadan is the month in which the Quran was revealed. هدى للناس, a guidance for humanity. وبينات من الهدى والفرقان, with clear proofs of guidance and the decisive authority. So the month of Ramadan is about the Quran, right? Also, the month of Ramadan has everything to do with fasting as well. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. That, O you who believe, fasting is prescribed for you as it was for those before you, so perhaps you will become mindful of Allah or attain taqwa. Taqwa is energy. Taqwa is the thing that helps us want to do more for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It helps us obey Him better. It helps us listen to guidance better. It gives us more clarity about our purpose and why and the motivation to want to do more and to be better. So this month is about building that taqwa from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a gift from Him and reconnecting with the Quran. And I know we talked about this in the beginning of this series, I believe, or actually, I don't know if we talked about it. But usually, this is sort of like the talk we get, the pre-Ramadan talk, right? If you go to like masajid and stuff like that, this is what we're talking about usually. And the question is again, here's a good time to reset. How am I connecting with the Quran first? Is the way I set up my goals to connect with the Quran, is that working for me? Is it actually helping me feel connected? And by the way, By feel, I don't mean you have to necessarily feel very spiritual. You don't have to feel very uplifted or very much like, oh my God, like I just, you could. That's wonderful. What a beautiful gift, right? But we don't chase feelings as Muslims. We chase obedience. We chase listening to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We chase understanding Allah. That's what we chase. We chase effort and trying our best. We don't chase feelings. Feelings are a byproduct. They can come if they come. They don't have to if they don't have to. You don't have to feel like praying Asr to pray Asr and get ajr for it. Maybe you'll get more ajr if you don't feel like it, right? If you're too tired to pray Isha, make yourself get up. Can you imagine like what this angel is writing? This person did not feel like it, Ya Allah. They were tired. They had a long day. They had a difficult day and they still got up and they still obeyed you and they still worshiped you, right? In our salah, we don't always feel it. It's okay. We still try and we still pray and we still keep going. It counts, inshallah. We don't know how it counts, but we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's um, approach to us is through Rahman ar-Rahim before anything else, right? He doesn't want to punish us. He wants to reward us. He wants to make it easy for us, which, by the way, that's part of the thing that fasting does. Allah says that He intends ease for us. How does fasting 30 days create ease for us? It creates ease because the more emotional, psychological, spiritual discipline we have, the easier it is to do harder things. Look at someone who's like obsessed again with working out. When they started, if they started, maybe not when they were younger, it was hard. It was not fun doing push-ups and sit-ups and all these things. And as they got stronger and stronger, they talk about, I've heard people say like, oh, what are your hobbies? And they're like, I go to the gym for fun. Yeah, for fun, right? There's a high that they get from running if they're runners or feeling like their muscles are getting ripped. There's something really enjoyable about it. But you have to keep pushing through the difficult period where maybe it's not very enjoyable. There's a really cool website that I love going to when I need like a hadith or something. It's called faithinislam.com, I think. And the guy who he's mashallah, he doesn't call himself a sheikh or anything, but he's mashallah very educated Islamically. His name is Justin Parrott, Abu Amina Ilyas. And he's really, really awesome. So there's like a whole bunch of just all the hadiths you could think of in Arabic and in English. He tells you if they're sahih, if they're hasan, like what the grade is. But then what I really love about the website is he has some articles about topics, Islamic topics, and most of it is referencing hadiths and ayahs because that's what the website is all about. And they're so beautifully written. They're like concise, but also he elaborates on things. So if you're interested, just to feel like to me, it feels like I read something useful. It filled my heart a little, and it's really beautiful. But one thing he has a beautiful article that talks about when ibadah is not enjoyable, right? And how to make it enjoyable, how to get to the point where it is enjoyable. And he quotes like Ibn al-Qayyim and all these other people who talk about this topic, where, you just have to push through the unenjoyable parts where it's like the discipline aspect of it is being built, right? Those beginning sessions of exercise, those first sessions of learning tajweed, where you're like, oh my God, my tongue hears what you're saying, like my ears hear what you're saying, but my tongue can't do it. um, or any sort of skill that you're trying to learn, right? It's all a muscle. And subhanAllah, like it's good to know that again, like staying in touch with our humanity, being real with ourselves. And that's where we can talk to Allah and say, Allah, you know how hard I want, how badly I want this. You know how hard it is for me. So please, Ya Allah, make it easy for me. Help me get over these humps of difficulty or discouragement or whatever and keep going back to the things that motivate you, right? Maybe reading Sira is really like fills your heart. Maybe I love the stories of the prophets so much. Like I could hear about Musa alayhi salam all day. I just need like a good storyteller to tell me the whole story. But I love their stories. Yusuf alayhi salam, right? You don't even have to go to a story. You can just go to the Quran for that because it's just like one straight shot. But those stories are moving and you can see it through, you can see um somebody, a human being who's chosen as a prophet, living the life of Iman and taqwa and having difficulties and overcoming them and being so real and raw, right? We just have to pay attention to those details. Sometimes we overlook them, but if you really like read Surah Yusuf alayhi salam, um, if you read Surah Yusuf with the lens of I want to like get to know his humanity a little bit more, you'll see it more and more. If you read about Musa alayhi salam with that lens of, I just want to get to know his humanity a little bit more, just so I could feel more connected, so I could see myself in them. You'll see it more. You know, when Musa alayhi salam is chosen as a prophet, and then he asks, could you please make Harun a prophet? Because I'm scared, right? I'm scared to go to Fir'aun by myself. What a like human, vulnerable, and he's a man, you know, men are not allowed to be afraid, right? Socially. And he's like, yeah, Allah, I'm scared. Can you please, help me with my brother, right? So, um, in conclusion, this will end. I will restart it if anyone has any questions or comments. But in conclusion, let's all reset ourselves for the next 8 days and then reset ourselves again for the last 10. Let's start with dua. Ya Allah, please allow us to reach the end of Ramadan, having been forgiven all of our sins, the ones we know about, the ones we don't know about, and every sin that we will commit till we die, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, please allow us to be of those who are freed from the hellfire and our families and all of those who believe. Ya Allah, spread your message, Ya Allah, far and wide. Ya Allah, there are such beautiful souls that you are more aware of than us. Please guide them to Islam, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Guide us first, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Of course, guide us all at the same time, Ya Rabbil Alameen. And heal our sick, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Heal us, Ya Allah. Heal us in all the ailments that we have, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, all the ailments, Ya Allah, that you know better